Hi guys. I'm Sammy the Bull. This is a fireside chat. I was talking with Anna, and you know that Anna is a psychologist now, and she's actually going to go for her master's degree. And we have these conversations, and she was talking to me about psychology and her class and her professor, and we started talking. And I said, let's talk right in front of a camera. So she's there, and she's talking to me, and you're going to hear it. It's going to be a little different. So you're going to hear her in the conversation, and I want to answer her like she's a psychologist talking to me, and I want to be able to answer directly. So this is going to be a little interesting, and I hope you guys love it and enjoy it. In school, I was a fuck up. So I started real early, 13, 14, 15. And a lot of people don't notice. Even people who knew about the rampers don't notice. When we originally got together, when we were real young, we were the Black Panthers. We got this picture of a Black Panther and put it on our jacket. And we didn't like it too much. And eventually, we knew about a gang that existed, the Rampers. They were the Ramper seniors and the Ramper juniors. Now, some of those guys were, in the neighborhood, everybody knew who they were. There was all kinds of guys, and they were real tough guys, and they were much older than we were. The juniors were older, the seniors were even older than them. And we wound up talking to them, they talked to us, and they wanted to take us in. So we joined them. When we became the Ramper Midgets. And they had a place on 64th Street or 66th Street and 14th Avenue. There was an empty lot. And they built a clubhouse out of plywood and no electric. There was candles in there and stuff like that. And they would take us in there, and they wanted to toughen us up. And what they would do by toughening us up was beat us up. Punch us, kick us, slap us, spit in our face, and just all kinds of things to toughen us up. And sometimes we caught a good beating. Sometimes we reacted back and we got a real good beating. So sometimes you got hit with his hands, a guy's hand, or sometimes with a bat or a stick or something. And in a way, it was toughening us up, but we didn't like it. We stood on 79th Street and Utrecht Avenue, and there was a bunch of us. Jerry Papa, Joe Vitale, Tommy Snake, Mikey Michio, Artie Gord. There was a whole host of different guys that I explained to Anna that were hanging out. There's more names yet. Spaghetti, one guy's name was Spaghetti. And it was us. It was the Rampers, us, the Ramper Midgets, against the world. The Mafia was all over the neighborhood. We knew about them. We didn't care about them. We didn't bother with them. We tried to stay away from them. They were dangerous. But we didn't care about those. It was a us against the world type of thing. Stupid bullshit, but we were real close. We had young girls staying with us. Jimmy, Puerto Rican guy, would be around us. There was a bunch of us. And Joe Vitale, I don't know if I said his name, was very close. And so we hung out. We went to these places. And we would have meetings on the Utrecht Avenue and 79th Street. And one day we were talking and we said, this has got to be bullshit. I had said, listen, I hate when a fucking guy slaps me in the fucking face and then spits in my fucking face and I got to sit there and take it. I don't like it, bro. I don't like it. So we were talking. Nobody liked it. So what do? So we came to the conclusion, why don't we just go see how tough they really are? Why don't we get a couple of cars, drive over there, and go to work on them? Let's see what happens. And we did. We got a couple of cars. We loaded them up with guys. We went to 14th Avenue at 66th Street, where the clubhouse was. We pulled up real fast, jammed the brakes, and stopped. Everybody jumped out. We had bats, pipes, and we just attacked them. We attacked them all. It was mostly the Rampa Juniors, maybe one or two guys from the Rampa Seniors, and we went to work on them really, really fucking bad. I remember when we were walking away, there was one guy half bleeding on the floor, and he looked up at me and said, "Why'd you do that?" And I kicked him fucking square in the face. And I said, "This is to toughen you up, just like you told us. You were tougher. I'm making you tough now." We got back in the car and we left. And that was the end of, we knew them, we always respected them, we were actually friends with them, but we were no more the Rampa midgets. We were the Rampas, period. Now, if we ever needed them, they were on our side. If they ever needed us, they'd give us a holler. But the respect was there now. No more tough guy bullshit, nobody beating each other up. So that's how it started. Now we even had guns, shotguns, rifles. There was a trainel, and in the columns that came down, we had them taped inside the column, hidden all over the place. Jimmy Emma, who was a fucking mad dog and a beast. The guy was actually a little smaller than me. His neck was bigger than my leg, my thigh. And he had these, it was just fucking enormous. I found out later he was probably taking steroids. We didn't even know what steroids were back then. But he knew about it somehow. He was a beast. And he had a temper. And Jerry Papa, we made him, he was the leader of the Rampas. There's a few incidents that happened that he lost that position because it was, us against the world, against the Mafia, against the cops, against everybody. And we'd hang out. There was a schoolyard, the Utrecht school, the schoolyard at night. We broke holes in the fence, so we were able to go in the schoolyard. You couldn't stop us from doing that. We'd have groups would sing and have 55-gallon barrels and make fires and hang out with the little girls who hung out with us, and it was great. It was great growing up like that. It was fun. It was great. It was loyalty. It was a lot of things. There was, on the next block after 79th Street, going in the other direction, was a bar, Little Paulie's, and we would go in and out of the bar. Even though we were nowhere near the age of drinking age, the owner and the bartender actually lived in an apartment in my house. My mother and father rented him an apartment. This guy, Pat, he lived downstairs. He was a bartender in there at night. He knew who I was. They wouldn't even try to stop us. Even the owner, Little Paulie. A couple of times, usually young. One time we went and did, it was a gang of us, 8, 10 of us. "Paulie, come here. Come outside. We want to talk to you." He came outside. And we said, "The next time you open your mouth about us being too young and being in the bar, and it bothers you, we think it bothers you, we'll get rid of you. We'll beat you up so fucking bad, you'll be in the hospital for fucking months. And then we don't have to worry about listening to your bullshit." And he, no, don't worry about it. You just could come in and this and that. But sometimes I have an older crowd at night. Yeah. So what? They're older women. They like to fuck young kids like us. Don't worry about it. Mind your fucking business. As long as we ain't going to bother them, they know how to handle themselves, these people. They were all tough guys in the neighborhood, especially in this bar. You didn't come in here just some, jerk off coming in this bar. You came in here, you saw it was a rough place. So you either could handle yourself or you wouldn't even come into the place. So all kinds of different stories and different things happened. Anna, say something. And when we were talking, say something.
Tell us more about how Jerry Papa got his nickname. What was his nickname?
His nickname was Papa Bear. And Papa Bear got a nickname because he wasn't much bigger than me, not too much more muscular or anything like that, but he was extremely strong. He'd grab you in a bear hug, pick you up and bang you into the ground. So he got that nickname like he was a bear. He gave you a bear hug, and Papa Bear. He got that reputation, and he was the leader for quite a while. Ballsy, psychotic fuck. Later on, he became a complete vicious killer. You know, we fought most of the times with our hands. There was a park, McKinley Park. Oh, I went to school over there when I got thrown out of school. There was a gang of guys over there, Irish gang. And one day, you know, we would have problems with them all the time. One day we said, okay, you know what? Let's have a fucking fight. You pick your 5 or 6 toughest guys. We'll pick our 5 or 6 toughest guys. Each guy gets a partner. And if you lose the fight, in other words, if I beat up the guy that I'm fighting and he gives up, then I could go help one of my other guys. So 5 of us will be fighting. We did that, and we destroyed them. I was actually the first guy to win. I think they underestimated me. They gave me one of their guys. He wasn't one of their toughest guys. And I had him. I ate him up. He quit right away. And of course, the first guy I went to was Papa. And Papa was wrestling with the guy on the floor. I stomped on his face once or twice. That's all Papa needed, that little bit of help. And then Papa was destroying him. And then I went to my friend Joe Vitale, who was fighting. And me and him were super close. But we were all super close. And I jumped in with him. And so now that Joe Vitale's guy quit, so me and Joe Vitale could go help the other 2 guys. We destroyed them. It was no match. It was a ridiculous contest. And but we became friends with them again. We got along with them. The Irish guys were tough. They were good. They'd even come to the bar every once in a while, little Paulies. And we'd have a drink. The only bad thing about the Irish, fucking 2, 3 drinks, they'd be calling you greaseball fuck or something, you know what I mean? And there was a fight. And then it stopped. But we got along with them pretty good. We got along with, there was some Puerto Rican gangs. There was black gangs. There was gangs all over the fucking place, in different areas, of course. But, and occasionally in the summer, we would go to Coney Island, and they called it the Bop House. Underneath the Broadwalk, there was like a bar, and you could get hamburgers and bullshit like that. And there was older guys with women and girls and stuff, and we would go there too. And we would hang out, and there'd be fights over there. And, you know, growing up was tough. And it toughened you up. It did. You didn't win all the time. And sometimes even when you won, you came out with lumps and bumps and bruises and shit like that. We didn't kill each other. We gave each other good beatings, and occasionally there was a killing or stuff like that. One day, Jimmy Emma was outside with Jerry Papa. And they were cleaning their car and doing something. The lights were out. And a team of guys pulled up, hit guys, Mafia guys. They had guns. Shots were fired. Jerry Papa ran one way. Jimmy Emma ran the other way. Jimmy Emma ran right into it. No parking sign. There was a skinny pole that came down. He didn't see it. He ran right into it, bounced off of him. He fell backwards. The guy was right on him, hit him 2-3 in the head. Jimmy Emma was gone. Jerry Papa was more lucky. He dodged in between cars, and it was harder to get him. Some guy was driving with his window open and screamed to him, "Jerry!" He saw the car. He ran and he dove into this car while it was driving, dove right into the window. They chased the car. A lot of shots were fired. All kinds of shit went on. But he got away. A day later, we got called to the police station. And we're all there. The ramp is, I got there a little later. I was picked up. And 4, 5, 6 rampers are there. And I said, "What's going on?" They were asking us questions about the murder and this and that. And Jerry Papa went in, and he signed a protection order. I said he wouldn't do that. He wouldn't do that. He's not a rat. He would never do that. It's not a rat that he was ratting. He didn't know anything that was going on. It's not a rat. But signing a protective order, we didn't do that. It's us against the world. Fuck the mafia. Fuck the cops. Fuck everybody else. What happened to that rule? So I said, I don't believe he did it. They said, well, there's a door in this room. Push that door open. It's the detective's office. And right on the desk, there's papers. There's papers right there, Sammy. They were in with Jerry Papa. All the guys were there. They moved forward to cover the door so I could slip in there. I slipped in there, and sure enough, there's the paper. It's a protection order, and Jerry Papa's signature on the bottom. I came out, and they said, did you see it? Yeah, I did. I said, I can't believe he signed this fucking thing. We'll protect ourselves, you know. That's what we're here for. I don't know. Maybe a half hour, 45 minutes passed, and Jerry Papa came out of a different door, or a little bit away from us, with a couple of detectives around him. And they marched him out. They were taking him under protective custody. We asked the detective, where's he going? Oh, he's being protected. And we all answered our questions. Nobody knew what was going on. Nobody said nothing. So we were going to go back to Doc's. We were staying in Doc's at that point. And we were going to go back to Doc's bar and discuss what happened. Little conversation about Jimmy and who did what. We had no idea. They were mafia dudes, that's for sure. That's all we really knew. What the reason was, we weren't sure. We was always in trouble, always beating up somebody, always in a fight in a fucking bar, or fucking somebody's girl or wife. Who the fuck knows what we did? And it was always something. So we had no idea what this particular thing was. And but they wanted to have a vote. Most of the rampers didn't want Jerry Papa, because he signed that protective order, to be the leader anymore. So we voted. It was unanimous. Everybody voted him out. And then I forgot who it was, but somebody brought up the idea, let's vote in the new boss. Everybody agreed. I was voted in as the new boss unanimously by everybody. And Papa was out. And I was in. And we weren't going to bother with him. We weren't going to hurt him. We weren't going to do anything, but we weren't going to bother him anymore. Bother with him. And, you know, little arguments went back and forth all the time. And he came by the corner where we were hanging out on Beth Avenue. We hung out over there too. And he came over to me knowing I was the new boss. And he gave me a bunch of envelopes. He was getting married to invite us to his wedding. So I said, I don't think we can make it. He says, come on, Sammy, here. And I took it. When the guys asked me, Lenny the Mole was there, Louis Bop was there, a bunch of them. And they said, what's that? I said, he's inviting us to his wedding. And what are you going to do, Sammy? We're not going to go. Fuck him, fuck the wedding, fuck he. I told him I don't think we're going to go. He insisted on it. I took the envelopes, but we're not going. His wedding came, none of us went. A big empty table. Obviously, it probably drove him crazy. One day, passing by Bath Avenue, he was with this guy, Butchie Hollywood, in a Cadillac. The car stopped. He jumped out. He came running across the street at me. As soon as he came there, we collided. Both of us drawing blows. All the rampers wanted to jump in right away. I said, whoa, whoa, whoa. Lenny the Mole, grab him. put him in the car, open the door. We're going to put him in the car and kill him. While we were dragging him finally to the car, right across the street, there was a precinct. Cops saw it from the window. They came running out with guns and everything. Whoa, take it easy, bro. It's an argument, it's a fight. I gotta give him credit. Even Papa said the same thing. He said, it's a fight. That's all it was. But he left. He got away. But he knew what we were gonna do. We didn't want to stand there and beat him up on the corner. We would get him in the car. He knew he would never come out of that car. By this time, a long time had passed and I'm older. I was already in the military. I came out. And this feud just kept going with me and him. And he was with this guy, Dutchie, who was with the Genovese family. And I was now with the Colombo people, Shorty Spiro. I went and put it on record about the fight. He told me, kill him. Good. I got a green light to kill him. Dutchie knew about the situation, and he tried to go down to Carmine Persico to talk to him, to try and squash it. When he went there, they told him Carmine's in the back. So he says, tell him I'm here. There's this kid's got this kid Sammy around him. I want to talk. I want to straighten this thing out. They went in the back. They said, Dutchie's here. This is what he wants to talk about. Tell him I'm out here. We already told him that you're in the back. Tell him I went out the back door and I'm not here. So he fluffed him off and he pushed it off. He told me that this guy was there to straighten it out. He says, I can only push it off so long. Go kill him. Because once we talk and I straighten it out with them, then you can't do nothing no more. I got it. And that's what happened. He wasn't around no more. I was hunting him. The Rampants were hunting him. Couldn't get him. He wasn't around. And finally, Dutchie got in touch with Carmine Persico, and they sat down, and it was a peace treaty. We can't hurt each other. We can't do nothing. Later on in time, Papa became a maid guy in the Genovese family. I became a maid guy in the Gambino family. A lot of things happened in between. I'm like rushing the story or telling you the story because most of this shit I've never talked about. When I was talking to Anna, she was telling me about kids growing up, and I started talking about things and stories about Jimmy and all these things. I'm mixing it up a little bit, but I figured you just maybe want to hear a little background and part of the stories. So Papa became a heavyweight drug dealer and a notorious killer. Almost on the level of Roy DeMeo. Here's the difference with them.
Next week on Fireside Chat. Inside the mind of a killer.
And told them, if I'm gonna go in the bar and meet them, if I'm not out in 15 minutes, come in and kill everybody. He had what I feel as like this drum in his head, this music, this beat. He was no longer with us. He was fantasizing about killing old people. That's a serial killer. So Frankie said, be careful for this guy, he's fucking out of his mind. Brains on the wall. And he said, that's Jerry Papa.